Hey everybody, it's Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer. Going to talk about May of 2024. Sorry that this is late. I was out of town in the month. So this will be a little bit quick, but a lot of things that have been sort of odd for people, I think are related to, we had the eclipse, right, in April. And what was happening was Mercury was retrograding. And so the eclipse happened at a certain point when it was in Aries. Excuse me, that makes no sense. The sun and moon were conjunct in Aries, right, when we had this eclipse, the new moon eclipse. And then Mercury hit that point, going retrograde. And now Mercury went direct already. And now it goes forward and it triggers that same point. So Mercury traveling forward, even though it's direct, hitting that eclipse point, and that was May 5th. I'm doing this on the 7th. And so it can be a little weird. Some people talk about being really tired or feeling sort of scattered. So it's a little bit of that surreal feeling of an eclipse because, and people think, oh, I thought Mercury was direct. And it is, but it's this funny little weird spot that we're just getting past. And then for those of you who are fans of Mercury getting out of the entire retrograde cycle, that happens on the, excuse me, the 15th, the 13th of May. So that's when Mercury passes like 25, 26 degrees of Aries, where it retrograded back at the very beginning of April. And then some people like to feel like that's really direct now that Mercury's out of that whole pattern. But I think the weirder part is that the eclipse almost extended itself because Mercury retrograde is a little bit eclipse-like in the sense that it's got this surreal weirdness to it, right? And then Mercury retrogrades that way, eclipses are that way, and now we're combining them a few times. So it's like, okay, we're past that. So that helps things not feel so weird. But again, these are rich times where you can do meditation work, dreams, creative writing or things, or just art. And there's a lot of inner discovery, but it all feels a little odd or like it's not landing anywhere maybe. And now that Mercury is getting out of that whole cycle, it's like, this is what this means, or this is where this can go, instead of being kind of in this nether realm or something, you know what I mean? So the other thing that's kind of great is, not that it's great that Jupiter's going to Gemini, but a change of sign for a planet is kind of cool. Jupiter changes signs once a year. And so, Jupiter gets a little tired of like, yeah, you've been in Taurus for a while. Now we're going to Gemini. And Jupiter's about, sorry, I just had some dairy products, so it's making me go, mm-mm. So Jupiter is extremely expansive. And the sign of Gemini is about ideas, about studying, spiritual studies, having sort of healing philosophies of things that have happened for you in your life. It can be a new way of seeing things. You could be joining groups because Gemini can be about kind of loose groups that you can join that are about, if it's yoga or transformational stuff or studying metaphysics or spirituality, a new yoga class, things like that. It's just fresh ideas, taking things from a fresh perspective. And anything you're about with changing your thinking, reframing, labeling things differently can be really helpful. And like shifting your perspective, choosing to see things from a perspective that are very healing. That can be part of Jupiter and Gemini. I might mention it again next month because Jupiter is going to work with a bunch of Gemini planets, and that'll be fun. So we'll probably talk about that again next month in June. So, and that happens on the this is kind of neat. The 25th, 26th. That's like Memorial Day weekend that it changes signs. Also, on the 23rd of May, we're going to have a full moon that, of course, the sun and moon are opposite each other when we have a full moon. But what will be happening then is that Venus and the sun will be together opposing that moon. So this can be a lot about, first of all, of course, Venus being about relationships. Excuse me, I'm take some water. And it can be about healing relationships. And especially because that Jupiter is getting ready to go into Gemini, which is like clarity about things, a new perspective. We come out of the weirdo stuff with the eclipse and the Mercury retrograde. So then with the full moon, really making some clear choices around relationships, or realizing nothing's really been wrong, that it's just been a little strange, and that you can kind of settle in and connect to your heart, to feel you're making the right choices for yourself. And that can be about finances as well, about self-care, especially if you struggle with body image or just being self-critical about yourself in general. That full moon can be very emotionally soothing, and combined with that, again, that idea of reframing and relabeling and saying, I'm going to choose to think and feel differently with the Jupiter going into Gemini. So that could be a very healing prospect as well. Even if it's, prosperity thinking or different types of vision board type things about money and prosperity, that can be something you look into as well. So again, I said I want to keep this quick because I know it's late for me to be sending it out. But something else that's going on in May is Mars went into Aries actually, like May 1st. And that's kind of great because, anything Aries is like a fresh cycle, right? A fresh zodiac cycle. And Mars is linked with Aries. So Mars is about taking charge of your life, feeling empowered, making decisions and acting on those decisions, and feeling confidence. There can be a restoring of confidence with Mars going into its own sign and starting a fresh cycle and feeling like you can make changes. And again, especially linked with the Jupiter and Gemini, it's like this perspective that helps you make the actions. Like you feel, I could try again, or I'm not just thinking about it, I'm doing it, which always helps because Gemini is a lot of thinking, and we often need Aries to do the thing you're thinking about. So having Mars being in Aries while that Jupiter changes signs is really helpful. So again, this is short, but sorry it's late. You can always contact me, alunamichaels.com, or my phone is best with calling or texting 248-583-1663. And always thanks again to the people at the Know Thyself podcast. You guys are so great. I'm thankful for you promoting me and stuff. So, okay. So have a great month. Enjoy it. It's a nice time. And June's going to be cool too. And just to say one last thing, I mentioned the full moon with the sun next to Venus. Venus and the sun are going to track all like together, be conjunct next to each other, really near each other, at least all through most of June too, which is just really great for good feelings and kindness. And it's just really nice. And that can be some of the intuitive work you might have done around the eclipse, really feeling like you're living your truth and being your authentic self and letting your best self be on the surface and living from that space. So it's all really good. So we'll talk in about that in June as well. Okay, well, bye-bye for now.